You're listening to Sexpert with me, Renee, where we say words like piece of shit, motherfucker, cocksucker, cunt. We get so dirty that even your mother's soap bar can't clean our mouths. You've been warned.
Welcome to Sexpert with me and Renee, where we talk everything sex. Get ready for awkward topics, inappropriate jokes, foul language, and a little bit of education. We are no doctors, just young adults looking to inform our generation about sex so they can live healthier, naughtier lives. I'm Mia Renee, your host. Are you ready? Hey guys, welcome to Sexpert with me and Renee, where we help our generation lead healthier and naughtier lives. This is episode 2, so exciting. Amber, how have you been?
I've been good, Mia. How have you been?
I've been good. I'm really sorry we had to push back this episode. We were originally supposed to record on Monday, and it's Thursday night now. I just got back from work. I'm fucking exhausted, so let's hope I don't fall asleep. If I fall asleep, someone yell at me. But yeah, I've been really good. I was sick earlier this week, but I'm glad to hear you're doing good, Amber, that you're not sick this week. Apparently it's going to be someone sick each week that we record. We're going to make it a habit. What do you say?
I mean, it sounds like a deal to me.
Definitely. So we have a regular guest on today's show, and I didn't really explain in the last episode how we're doing, like, our co-hosts or our regular guests. If you follow us or like us on Facebook, that's Facebook. Yeah, so if you've liked us on Facebook, you already have probably seen who all of our co-hosts are. Like, you have a face to a voice. Is that it? A voice to a face, a picture, I don't know. And so you already kind of know what we all look like, but we also have regular guests. So, like, when not all the co-hosts are on, like, so for instance, tonight it's just Amber, we will have sometimes like a regular guest. So tonight I asked Valerie to come on. So Valerie, welcome to the show. How have you been?
Been great. How have you been, Mia? Just kidding. I already know how you've been. You've been sick. I love you.
I go to school with Valerie. She's a cutie little patootie. And if you have liked our Facebook page again, you've already seen what Valerie looks like because I have already posted a little picture with some cute little facts about her. So,
God.
Yeah, she's like eyes wide right now because I actually didn't tell her about this. But it's okay because I haven't, this is all future tense, right? Like, it's future tense but past tense. So, like, I haven't posted it yet. So we'll talk about that more later. But today's episode, guys, is all about Tinder and, like, online kind of, like, dating hookups. I feel like saying online dating is super weird because no one that I know of, at least, in my age bracket, uses, like, actual online dating websites like eHarmony or Farmers Only or something. Like, everyone uses, like, Tinder or Bumble or Frenzy, or those are the only ones I've used, I think. I may have used more. I don't know.
Plenty of fish. Bernie Sanders meet.
Oh, actually, yeah, I think I signed up for that one. The Bernie Sanders one. I don't know if I ever got back on it. I should probably oh, you know what else? I did another one. I did, what's that other one? It's the OkCupid. I signed up for that one. I didn't like that one. For me, it was too much information, like, with, like, profiles, and I couldn't make conversation, like, or ask questions because I felt like I already knew too much. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That one I had a weird feel. I didn't like the app. I wasn't going to go online to use it. Like, who the fuck does that? Like, I'm not going to be that lame person in a coffee shop on their computer, like, on OkCupid, trying to meet singles in my area, when I could be that lame person in a coffee shop swiping left on my Tinder. Because that's all I do. It's just left swipes for me. I never match with anybody. It's pitiful. Well, when you're in your hometown, right? I don't know how it is for you guys. But in my hometown, it's like left. Left means no, right means
no. It's
yes.
lit, Charlotte. So many
Sure.
people, so many good-looking people.
Okay, well, I'm not in Charlotte. I'm in Canton, and I can't make anything funny off of that. And Amber, what about you? Like, how's it for you? Like,
I have literally no people in my hometown,
Yeah.
so every time I get on Tinder, I make sure the 100-mile range is on, because I don't want anybody from around here.
100 damn miles. I'll tell you what though, one of my Tinder hookups I actually matched with when I was in your town, Amber.
Oh my god.
One of them, but he was from Lexington, so he wasn't from Trinity or Archdale. But that's like less than a 20-mile range. So, and he was actually like his address was Lexington, but he lived closer to like Archdale. So he lived near that, or actually I guess it was Thomasville. I don't. No, none of our listeners give a fuck, so I don't know why I'm talking about it. And Valerie's from Charlotte over here, so she like has no clue where any of these places are either. Well, today's episode about Tinder, it's we also are doing a sex playlist portion of the show, which is super exciting. But let's go ahead and start with some sex today. I found a really cool article on, let's see, ProPublica. I think both of the articles I'm using today are from British websites. Apparently the British people love their Tinder. But this one is basically how to background check your Tinder dates. And it's not like a serious, like, in-depth background check, but it's more like how to confirm your Tinder date is a real person, not a psychopath, not a serial killer, stuff like that. So it's just, I think it's like 4 quick tips on how to, just different ways to background check your Tinder date. So the first one is just to Google reverse image search. So if you aren't aware of this, you can actually search by using an image on the Google search engine. Were you guys aware that that was a thing at all?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
Hell yeah.
I was aware of this, and I think I've done it once, and it was by accident. But you can only do it on your computer, so it doesn't work on the Google app or like on Google Mobile or whatever. But if you screenshot like one of your Tinder dates pictures, maybe crop it down to the actual picture of them, and then maybe email it to yourself. I know this is a lot of steps, but like if they don't have a lot of information on their profile and you just are going by their first name and their age, it may be easier to search the image of them on Google and see what comes up, see if there's other images or see if there's more information on them. This is a sure, easy way to see if someone's catfishing, honestly. Because if you search like an image of someone and suddenly this like model pops up and like their model Instagram page, you probably know you're being catfished because this model lives in Los Angeles and you're on the East Coast, and that doesn't make any sense. So that was one way. Another way was to search LinkedIn. This is a good way to see if your date is like as professional as they may say they are, or just to double check to see if they work at where their profile says they work at. So on Tinder, it does list where it like has your workplace under your name. And this is able to check to make sure that they work where they do, unless they're really lame. I've come across people on Tinder that, their workplace is like ain't none your business, because it connects to your Facebook profile. So some people put like dumb fucking shit in their Facebook profile, or they did when they were 14 and they never changed it. So it like links to their Tinder, and it's like works at Hollister Modeling Company. I'm like, well, first of all, you got a beer belly, so I know you ain't at Hollister. Second of all, like, but this is a good way just to see. And then the article also talks about like it can be kind of hard to search on LinkedIn, so you could use the site search term on Google. So like put in their name. So for instance, T. Christian Miller, which I don't know how the fuck you have their full name going off of Tinder, but this is what the article's saying. And then put site, SITE, with a colon, with like LinkedIn.com. And it'll see if they can find that name on LinkedIn. That's how that Google searching works. You can also Facebook search them, which is honestly the thing I do most with Tinder people. I don't know about you guys, but usually one of the first things I'll do is search their name, see, especially if we have mutual friends, it makes it easier. Because that's what, on Tinder, that's what that little thing means with like, what is it, like connections? I know way
but
too
only
much.
With, like the first connections.
Yeah, like first versus second versus like, I guess, does it just go to second or third connections? I don't know. I just learned, though, what the numbers mean. I just learned that, like, recently. First connection means that you have a mutual friend. And second connection means you have a mutual friend who is a mutual friend.
I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah, that's what that means. So I don't know if there's a third connection, like mutual friend of a mutual friend of a mutual friend. I hope there's not. That's way too much for me. But yeah, Facebook is usually like a go-to for me. But I never thought of the reverse image search on Google. That's a really smart one. And also, this was a good idea too. The fourth point says the chat, which isn't anything specific. It just says like, just, you know, you're talking with them on chat, right? The Tinder chat, and you may ask like for their cell phone number, and if you do that, you can go to White Pages or something, do a reverse phone search to see if you can find their full name with their phone number, which is really smart, which will definitely help your Facebook searching, because, you know, going off of a first name, is there a last initial on Tinder, or first initial for your last name? Is there not? Okay, maybe I'm thinking, God, I'm getting all my fucking apps mixed up now. That's embarrassing. And then there's a part that says, like, if you get a job title or company name from them that may not be on their profile, you can, like, search that on LinkedIn. Something like that. Just, like, kind of basically, like, getting their information, just casually talking to them, and then being a two-faced spy and looking them up. I feel like that's super cool. But I just thought that was really interesting because a lot of people are very scared to use Tinder because, you know, you've talked to this person online, but you can't guarantee they're a real person. So definitely, like, I think it's completely justified to essentially Facebook stalk someone that you're talking to on Tinder and may meet up with. Because, I mean, you need to know if they're a legitimate person and if they're, like, not a serial killer or something. And I think the reverse image search is really good. I keep talking about that, but I think that's really great because I mean, like, if you search that image and then a mugshot of them comes up too, like, shit, you know to get the fuck out. Like,
run.
Run. So I may have to start doing that and let you guys know what comes up with my reverse searches, because I've come across so many weird people on Tinder. So many. Like, wow. I can't even handle it sometimes. Have you ever come
Some
across...
of them are honest, though. Like, there was a guy on there who was like, yeah, I leave for prison in a month because I got, like, caught with narcotics or whatever, so I'm just here to have a good time.
I'd be like, you got me more of those narcotics? Like...
I was like, okay, no thank you, left.
Oh, so he had it in his profile, like his bio.
Yeah.
And that leads us to our main topic, which we're talking about, you know, Tinder. But I have another article that kind of leads us into that, and this is on Metro, which is a British kind of like, I think it's kind of like the equivalent of BuzzFeed, is what I'm getting. Metro.co.uk. And it's 14 of the biggest online dating profile no-nos. So this is like what not to put in your profile, and it's actually very interesting. Usually, I wouldn't say there's a black and white with, like, dating and how you present yourself, but when you're doing online dating or, you know, Tinder, that's definitely a very black and white platform. You know, there's really no gray area when you choose to swipe left or right. There isn't. It's yes or no. There's no maybe swipe. So, I think definitely the way you present yourself and your bio or your image on Tinder is a huge deal. So there's 14 tips here. I figured we could run through them. Maybe, like, think about them for ourselves or for others. If you have any input, throw it in. So the first one is relying on your picture to do all of your work for you. So, like, don't, I guess, not have a bio. Like, make sure you have a bio. What do you guys think about that?
I think the bio is really important because, like, your picture might look nice, but what you say in your bio is, like, kind of who you are, really.
I don't know. I guess my Tinder is just screwed to the max because I just let my pictures do everything. My bio literally has
You do have
nothing
big
in
tits. See, like, I don't have big tits, so, like, I don't have anything going for me on Tinder. Like, I can't get any cleavage. Like, I gotta, you know, you took that cleavage shot with me, Valerie. Like, how did we even take that picture? You have one hand Catherine had the other hand pushing my boobs from each side to get like an above cleavage shot. I need to like post this in the show notes. Like, you know, it was a good shot. Got a lot of likes on Instagram, but I don't have anything to go off of. But I definitely think the bio is really important to me. Because, and a lot of times, I know a lot of guys especially don't do this, but a lot of times, since I hardly swipe right, I will definitely, if I'm interested in a person's, like, image, like, I'll click on it, go through all their images to make sure that they're attractive, because, you know, some people just put, like, an image of their attractive side, or them with their fucking friends. I hate that. Or, like, I'll click to read their bio, just to see what they're like. The second one is spelling and grammar. So just basically not getting the yours mixed up or the theirs, or what else is there to get mixed up? There's so many things that can get mixed up, that people get mixed up. That's a huge one for me personally, just because I'm a grammar Nazi.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If you aren't spelling correctly in your bio, or like when you're talking to me, I'm just gonna stop talking to you.
Yeah, I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to stuff like that. If there's like a missing apostrophe or a lowercase letter that should be uppercase, I'll swipe left. Like, it's
Gotta
like,
be educated.
like
fam, or
you
at
you
least
should
act like
you
it.
should have your first draft of your bio, your second draft of your bio. The third one is like too many smiley faces. I think this one depends on, like, I guess, your age. So, like, the way this article is written, the point for number 3 just says smiley faces. But I think this article may be written for, like, older adults. And I think, like, definitely people our age will use smiley faces to be flirty. But I definitely get when there's too many smiley faces or too many emojis that it could be kind of a turn-off. What do you guys think?
I think, like, if you're using, like, way too many in a row, or, like, constantly, it just gets a little weird. Because it's like, is that really how you feel, or are you just telling me this? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
emojis. I love
And
them.
emojis can be... I do too, and I love the GIF feature with Tinder, but not so much with GIFs, but with emojis and with any texting in general. It's so easily, like, misinterpreted, the context, so you just gotta be careful. Number 4 is fibs. So the way this one is, like, put in context in the article is, like, lying about your height. A lot of guys will put, like, their height in their bio, which I actually find that very helpful. Like, it's not like I go after guys that are a certain height, and it's not like I swipe right if a guy is particularly tall, but, like, I'm a rather short person, so if I'm meeting a guy who's like 6'3", I know in advance that he's going to be tall. And that's kind of nice for me. Like, I know in advance, like, I'm not going to be too surprised. But, yeah, definitely fibbing on your profile, lying at all. I haven't come across anyone that's done that yet. Probably because I don't respond to any messages I receive on Tinder. But, or, like, I've never, like, tried to, like, debunk anything on anyone's bios, but yeah, don't lie on your profiles. That's dumb as shit. 5 is cliches. So, snuggling in front of the fire, sunset strolls along the beach, a glass of wine with a movie. Like, I mean, like, cliches are cute, but it's kind of like when guys send you the same, like, punchline, the same opening line when they message you. Yeah, like, I can't even tell you how, because my Tinder, it automatically shows that I work at the library. So, I can't tell you how many times I've had a guy open with me being a cute or sexy librarian. I'm like, yo, this is so unoriginal. Like, so I usually don't message him back. I'm like, I'm not going through the whole librarian thing. Like, I'm not usually cute with the library. I'm usually, like, pouty or something, but whatever. Number 6 is being needy, just being too needy, especially in your bio. So the example here is, I'm looking for someone to love and to share my life with. I like to go out and enjoy myself, but I don't have anyone to do it with, 2 exclamation points. It's not a lot of fun going out for a meal on your own. I want to meet the right person, 2 exclamation points. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like people that are too needy on Tinder?
This is the one that's really difficult for me because I'm a naturally really clingy person.
Yeah.
So I need attention a lot, but I don't want to make it seem like I do when I'm trying to talk to somebody.
Right, and so, like, when someone puts that in their bio, it makes you think, well, how are they really if they're like this in their bio? Like, everyone's needy, you know, a little bit, but if you're putting it in your bio, that's very questionable. Number 7 is too many exclamation points. Kind of like that needy person's profile bio that I just read. I use a good amount of exclamation points, but I don't ever use them. I don't know. It's weird for me. But I guess that goes back to the grammar thing for me. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, every one of these, like, no-nos are, like, a big yes for me.
Okay, so you like exclamation marks, you like being needy, you like cliche, you like lies, you like smiley faces.
Okay, not the lies.
You like smelling and grammar, and you like just pictures. So we can debunk that you're a slut.
I'm hurt.
I
so
know.
hurt.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Well, we're only halfway through, Valerie, so let's see how the rest of it treats you. Number 8, using YOLO.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Wait, hell yes on what side?
Use it. Use it. You only live once. Like,
no, I'm
if
done.
you refer to Drake, automatic swipe right.
No, literally, like, using the word YOLO in their bio. Like, do you get what I'm is that, you're still yes to that?
Yeah, I'm still with it.
Oh my god, get the fuck off this call. No, I can't. Yeah, that's true too. Usually when I see YOLO, it's like 420 with a little like smoke emoji and plant emoji. YOLO, and I'm like, left. Like, usually when I see YOLO, it's paired with like guys that I'm not interested in anyway, so it's not that hard for me to swipe left. But I'm just not a huge fan. Like, I definitely like the meaning behind YOLO, but I don't know. Valerie over here don't give a fuck, so whatever. She's YOLOing every day. Number 9 is slagging off on online dating. So basically saying in your bio that you don't normally do this sort of thing. Like when someone is on their Tinder and they're like, I don't normally do online dating, but I decided to give Tinder a try. Like, that doesn't make you special. Like, I agree with that too. I agree with all these points to an extent. I guess that's why I chose this article. What do you guys think?
I think that kind of goes along with saying in their bio, like, oh yeah, my friends made me do this. Like, are you sure about that? Did they really make you do that?
Oh yeah, when people are like, my friend made me make this, or I'm trying to think of what I see a lot. I see like, the one thing I see a lot is, I don't usually respond on here, so Snapchat me. Like, no, I'm not going the extra mile. Fuck that. Like, or I'm never on this app or whatever. Like, then why do you have it downloaded? Why do you even have it? So it's like, if you're not going to give, I'm not going to give type situation. Number 10 is the only one that, well, number 10 and 11 I'm kind of iffy with. So number 10 is writing an essay. Now, I definitely don't want to come across someone who has like 3 paragraphs of information in their bio. I'll read it, but I don't know, like, I personally wouldn't put it on my bio. I wouldn't, because I know people aren't going to read 3 paragraphs normally. And then number 11 is like having lists. So like, that's how my bio is. Like, my list, I have my likes and I have my dislikes, because I feel like that's a really easy way to like show my character. So I kind of disagree with the lists, but the way this one is like exemplified, I kind of get it. It's exemplified with a list of sun or snow, wine or beer, early bird or night owl, cat person or dog person. Like, okay, I kind of get that. Like, so you'd have that, like, for instance, on a bio, it'd be sun or snow, sun, wine or beer, wine, early bird or night owl, cat or dog person, cat person. Like, that's, for me, that's almost like not trying enough versus coming up with likes and dislikes. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I disagree with the paragraph one, because mine is like kind of paragraphs, but not really. But I think
Yeah.
that's like a better way to get to know somebody by not trying so hard. Like, without messaging them, that's a good way to get to know them.
Yeah, and it gives you, like, the more information you have in a bio for me, the more likely I am to either message you or message you back or swipe
Yeah,
right.
me too.
Like, I just need to know more about you than just your looks. Valerie, what about you? Yeah, you're the opposite. Moving on. Okay. I'm kidding. You can talk.
No, I really don't know. I don't know. Like I told you, I go off your face. So if your face is attractive, like, fuck the bio. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
There's some people where I'll do that, but they're usually very attractive people. Number 12 is being creepy. Definitely, if you're creepy in your bio, like, the example here is, I want to bury my face in your hair and feel the smooth curve of your back as we breathe together. Like, who the fuck would say that, first of all, in their bio?
You.
I think the creepiest thing I've ever done, Valerie, was put a picture of my cat on there and then make my bio solely say, the last picture is a picture of my cat and I will like him more than you. Like, that's like the creepiest thing I've ever done, was the cat thing. And you know what? I got more swipe rights than, like, ever before, but I was also in Chapel Hill, so I was, like, more metropolitan area. But I don't know about you guys. I don't see this in bios a lot, but I will get really creepy messages from people. Like, not necessarily all the time opening lines, but I'll have people that I'll talk to a little bit and they'll just start getting creepy. Or I'll have people, like, if I don't message them back, they'll send repetitive messages and they'll get creepier and creepier. And I've never really blocked a person on Tinder, just because, like, I don't know, I just haven't. But if, like, there was one guy I think I did block. I can't remember. I don't remember. His name was Rajiv, and I super liked him because his profile picture was sugar daddy looking for a sugar baby. So, I mean, what else was I gonna do? Swipe left? Hell no. And I didn't want to, like, talk to him, but he started talking about having kids, and I was like, oh, right, Rajiv. Like, this is just Tinder. Number 13 is using the phrase, you will be, or basically saying explicitly, like, what their partner will be like what you're looking for in a partner. Like, you will have blonde hair with blue eyes.
That is a hell no. Not because that's not how I look like, but I'm gonna be my damn self, and if you don't like it, you can suck my dick.
It's not a really good approach to have. Like, if you're looking to get people to like you, it's not a good approach. And then 14, and the final one is, like, TMI, like, just having just too much information in your profile. I feel like one of you said something earlier about TMI. I don't know, it reminded me of this, but I'm trying to think. I think some of the TMIs I've come across are, like, probably people being like, I'm a sobering up alcoholic or something. I'm like, wow, thanks. Okay, no thanks. Like, I don't know about you guys. I've seen some weird bios that almost give me too much information. But what do you guys think?
I think one of the worst that I've seen, like, repetitively multiple times. I mean, it's not really that bad. It's more like just being honest, but it's like people will say, oh yeah, I'm in an open relationship and we're both looking for something. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't say that directly.
But, like, at the same time, like, if that's just what they want, like, I kind of get
that.
Yeah,
like, I can see it from both
Some
ways.
people will say in their, some people will say in their bios, like, just looking for a hookup. Like, then you know exactly, like, what they want, which is nice. Sometimes the TMI for me comes across when people post naked pictures as their main pictures. And I'm like, oh, wasn't expecting a dick, was expecting a face, but thank you. So there you go. There's your 14 of your biggest online dating no-nos for Tinder success via Metro. That proved to be about 50% effective for us, I think. But since we're talking about Tinder bios, why don't we get on our Tinders and read our Tinder bios to the world? What do you guys think? Who wants to go first? Do you like listening to Sexpert? how much do you like listening to Sexpert? Show me how much you like listening to Sexpert. And go to podcasts in the iTunes store. Rate, review, and subscribe to Sexpert. Listen, I'm already so happy that you're listening. And if you're subscribed, I am so happy that you're subscribed. But the only way that we get boosted in the iTunes store is if you rate and or review us. Super simple. Click of a button, type of a key, just say how much you love us. If you don't have anything to say, I don't know, talk about your favorite TV program. Basically, if you do it, it boosts us. And it kind of makes me happy too. So go to the iTunes store, find Sexpert in podcast, make sure to click those 5 stars, yes, all 5 of them. Leave a cool review that I can read, and maybe I'll read it on the show. If you leave a cool review, I may read it on the show. So rate, review, subscribe to Sexpert in iTunes, and thank you for listening.
Obviously, Mia should go first.
No, why me? Okay, I'll go first. We'll save me for last on our next part. So mine has, like I said, it has my likes and dislikes. So mine says likes. Cats, tea, books, records, pretty doors, dream catchers, Polaroids, Nicolas Cage memes, and then in parentheses, in parentheses, nudes. And then my dislikes, it says dislikes, poison ivy, bad grammar, boys who think their one-liners are original. And that's my Tinder profile bio.
It's a masterpiece.
Thank you. I'm waiting to win an award. What about you, Valerie? What's yours?
You're a basic bitch. You just put on there, I'm pretty late. I said I'm a pretty laid back person, and you're probably taller than me, and then parentheses 5'1". That's it.
That's good. I like that. What about you, Amb?
Okay, mine, the first line, I have a line and then I have spaces in something else. The first, because I have 4 pictures on here, and in 3 of them I have my eyes closed. So the first line says, I'm aware that I have my eyes closed in 3 out of 4 of my pictures. It's kind of my thing. And then I spaced down and said, I like a lot of people in all sorts of nerdy, emo, trendy teen stuff. I love talking to people, so feel free to hit me up. And then it's a little tongue face. A little flirty, but not too much.
Cute. That was good. That's the perfect example of using emojis and then using your words as well together for a good outcome. Okay, so moving right along to the next part, which is super exciting. We didn't have this idea until Valerie decided to mention it or something. Sex playlists. Now, we're not going to talk about sex playlists necessarily, I guess. The benefits versus non-benefits or why we would use them. That can honestly be for another episode. Right now, we're just all going to kind of share our sex playlists with the listeners, with all of our listeners, all 4 of our listeners. So I'll go last for this one, since everyone made me go first last time. Who would like to share, and by the way, don't play the songs, because I'm afraid of, copyright issues. Just, mention a couple of songs on your sex playlist, why you picked them. How about you go first, Valerie? You've been saying this whole time, my playlist is fire! It's fire!
It is fire. Is it okay, so am I only picking one song?
No, just pick 2 or 3. 2 or 3 songs that stand out to you.
One that has to be on everybody's. I don't care if, I don't know. It's just such a good song. It can be used in so many different scenarios. But it's called We Can Make Love by Somo.
Okay.
And it's actually not a romantic song like you think it would be, so that's pretty good. And then I also probably Shut It Down by Drake.
Alright.
I think those are my top 2.
Okay. Cool deal. So, what about you, Amber? What about your sex playlist?
Mine is the complete opposite, because I just kind of like slower songs and more mellow songs. And so, my staple is definitely Are You Mine by Arctic Monkeys. That's like one of my favorite songs, and it's not necessarily like a sexy song or whatever, but it definitely puts me in my feels.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one is Always by Blink-182, because that's my all-time
That's a
favorite
good
song,
one, yeah.
and it definitely has some interesting lyrics.
Yeah. And, like, both of your sex playlists are kind of, like, opposite. So it really shows personalities. Like, Valerie's more freaky and, like...
Shut the hell up, Mia. I mean, you know, you got my info, so if anybody wants to hit me up, I'm kidding.
Valerie's selling herself on Sexpert tonight. I'm a little bit of both. Like, y'all know that I'm freaky, but I also like my sensual. So I made 2 playlists because I'm complicated as fuck. So my first playlist is called My Sensual Sex. And my second playlist is called Ranchy Sex. Now let me tell you the story about why it's called Ranchy Sex. I went to type raunchy and I left out the U and I kept it. That's the story. That's it. I went to type raunchy sex, left out the U. It said ranchy. I said, you know what? I like it. It has a nice ring to it. So it's my Ranchy Sex playlist, but it's for raunchier sex. So one of the songs, actually the only song that's on both playlists is Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. I fucking love that song. I don't know if you guys have ever heard it before, but every time I hear it, I think of the scene in We're the Millers where Jennifer Aniston, like, strips in the, like, car garage because this song plays and it's all slow-mo. I don't know, but I like it. And I, like, think of it, and that makes it sound really weird. Like, I'm thinking of Jennifer Aniston. But, like, it just makes me, it gives me, like, a very sexy feel, and I like that a lot. And then a lot on my sensual sex playlist, I have, like, a lot of interesting stuff. I have some James Bay. I have Birthday Sex by Jeremiah because I love that song. And it's a little bit slower. Pillow Talk.
Do you have the Jonas Brothers on there?
No, I didn't.
Took them out.
Figured.
Took them out, Mia.
I know. I never added the Jonas Brothers, Valerie. I know, and I didn't add Hanson and Bop either.
That's so exciting.
It was a big debate for me because I can't remember if I said this before. I never had a sex playlist, as I've just never created one, and so I created this just for this episode. And then my Ranchy Sex playlist, like I said, it has more Beyonce, has some Trey songs, Miley Cyrus. It has Cockiness by Rihanna. I really love that song. Holy shit. It's a good song. Suck my cockiness, lick my persuasion. Like, I just think it's good. I like the wording. The wording itself will make me horny. We're good. So we will be linking our Spotify sex playlists in the show notes if you want to check them out, and also follow us on Spotify. If you follow me on Spotify and, you know, obviously watch what I listen to on a regular basis, which I hope you don't do, you'll see that I listen to a lot of High School Musical. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. So, Amber, let's introduce your segment, shall we?
Let me pull it up. Okay. Well, friends, today we're starting a new segment called Am's Sex Positions, where I tell you all the places to try out that are supposedly supposed to feel good and feel nice and be something new to try out. So, I have 2 kind of sections where I do, like, answers that I've researched, like, looked up on websites and people say that they really like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one where people tell me what they really like. So I'm gonna do one from both. So the first one from this section is called the Sultry Saddle. And in my notes, I described it as basically scissoring for straight people. And if you don't know what that is, it's where you pretty much, like,
scissoring. I mean, if you don't know what scissoring is, just look it up. Just look up a picture of scissoring.
There we go.
Get
That's
your
so much
2
easier.
fingers and slam them together. I don't know. That was a really bad
really
description.
simple, but supposedly feels great.
If you could explain more about the scissoring, but for straight people, like, that's just essentially what it is. Like, the penis goes in the vagina while you're scissoring, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, like, the pictures of the, like, tutorial or whatever it was weren't that descriptive. It was basically just, like, one person sitting on top of each other while their legs are intertwined.
Yeah, with the penis and the vagina or anus.
Yep,
Sounds good.
basically.
Sounds good. And then what was your other one?
Okay, my people's researched answer was surprisingly doggy style. I wasn't really
Nice.
expecting this because, I mean, everybody's different, but I wasn't expecting, like, 3 people told me this. And they all said that they really liked this one because they liked having the dominance, like, aspect. Like, they either liked being the dominant one or they liked being dominated. And I can really understand that, so.
Yeah, and I definitely connect a lot to that, too. When the first time I ever, like, got the daddy kink, I think I was in the non-dominant, the submissive part of that position. Doggy style, though, feels really good, especially for a lot of girls, where the G-spot's located. And it's also a fairly, like, common position. Like, even people that aren't quite as informed about, like, different types of sex positions or kinkier sex, they have heard of and know how to do doggy style. So I think that may be why it is so popular, because it's already popular. I mean, but yeah, like, this is a really cool segment. I like it because it introduces new positions, including, what was the one that was the scissoring for straight people? What was the name of it?
The sultry saddle.
The sultry saddle. Yeah, I get that. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, it's like saddle, but like got it, the legs are a little different. What, like, since you're on the show, Valerie, what is your favorite sex position?
I don't know.
You gotta make this good. You've already advertised yourself. You've read your Tinder bio.
Fellow
We talked about your big tits and your height.
sexies.
This is the last thing going for you.
I don't know. I don't want to say doggy because I feel like that's so. Just let me get on top of you and just let me ride you. Okay, I'm so, like, done with myself.
I love that. That is Valerie's favorite sex position. Let me just get on top of you and ride you. I'm gonna make that a new fucking, like, that's amazing. I love that. Now let's do some emails, and I'm trying to decide if we're just gonna do 1 email today or 2 emails today. But if you would like to send in an email, essentially it's like you send in, like, a sex story of yours, or of a friend, even a personal sex story. Although, if you do a friend, keep them anonymous and or get their permission before submitting. Or you can send in your questions that you want answered on the show. And you can submit to Sexpert by going to miareneecole.com/Sexpert. And on that page, there's a little Google form for you to fill out. So that's Mia Renee Cole, my full name, .com/Sexpert. Or if you just go to miareneecole.com, there's a button that says Sexpert, and you just click on it. And it leads you straight to the form. So our first email for today, and possibly our only one, depending on how I'm feeling, is from Lola, who is from Clyde, which for both of you is near me, very near me. It's like right next to me. So Lola submitted, and this works out perfectly. She submitted a Tinder horror story, and it works out perfectly. So she said, I just wanted to share with the world my horror story of the first time I hooked up with a Tinder boy. I've been so fed up with trying to be in a relationship, and I wanted to try a random hookup. Let me tell you, that was a mistake. So I met this boy named John on Tinder, and we decided to hang out. I was fully aware of what was going to happen, and I was prepared for it. What I didn't prepare myself for is that he would literally come in 2 seconds and then blame me for my lady bits being too tight. After, like, basically getting yelled at for 20 minutes about how it wasn't his fault that he couldn't last long, I decided that it was time for him to go home. Poor John ended up having his number erased after he begged me for a redo night after night, but at least I got a laugh out of it. I think that's a good one. personally. That kind of goes along with the email we got last week about the guy blaming the girl for him not being able to finish with
It's
the
like a
blowjob.
reoccurring theme. Guys blaming girls.
It's what? Yeah, I think, and I really like how Lola got a laugh out of this, because I kind of got a laugh about, like, over my Tinder horror hookup story that I have. I kind of have a laugh about it when I tell people. They think it's the funniest fucking thing they've ever heard. But, it was a little damaging. Like, I don't like to think about it too much. Have you two ever had, like, Tinder horror stories? Not necessarily just hooking up, but, like, meeting people.
Not necessarily like meeting people, but way back in the day, there was this app called Hot or Not, and
oh, this is like the original Tinder.
yeah,
Damn.
that was my shit. Like, that
My
was the
rating
thing
never
that I
reached,
did.
like, an 8.
And I was 17, and
Nice.
this guy was talking to me and telling me all these things, and the next day, his girlfriend texted me and said, hey, who's this? And I said, oh, sorry, wrong number, gotta go. It was not fun.
Nice. Oh, that's awkward. What about you, Valerie?
Well,
She's like, I gotta think.
well, I don't just like. I think this is honestly like a story for like a segment. You know, I'm pretty sure you're probably gonna do a segment
Yeah.
on like
Yeah.
virginity. Like, let's like that's when I'll slide into the DMs and give everybody the 411 on how.
Yeah,
Valerie's
and
a
like
little
this
bitch.
is yeah, because you lost your virginity to a Tinder hookup, right?
yeah.
I have a friend who lost their virginity to a Grindr hookup. And then I like never had that experience, but I've had how many guys have I met off of Tinder? I'm thinking. Now, I've had sex with 3 of them. No, yeah, I've had sex with 3 of them. One was really bad. Like, that's the worst sex I've ever had. But I've met up with a total of 3, 4, 5 guys from Tinder, maybe 6. One wasn't from Tinder, it was from another app. But, yeah, and I've had Tinder for like a year. I don't go on a whim and meet people. I don't know about you guys, but regardless of Tinder hookup stories, I mean, I think Tinder is a good way to meet people, even if you're just looking just for a platonic relationship with someone. And if you're like me, like I make this excuse, and it sounds so dumb coming from someone my age, but like, especially during, you know, the school year, I don't have time to fucking meet people. I don't. When I am going out, or I don't even go out. Like, I'm very chill when I hang out with people. And so I'm hanging out with people I already know because I have very little time to hang out and I want to see people I know. And so I don't have a lot of time to go out to meet new people. There was one time I gave a guy my number in a Starbucks, and that was the worst Halloween ever. It was very, very awkward. Never doing that again. All right, so we're about done with today's episode, guys. It's going to be a little over 50 minutes, but that's okay because I hope it ran fast for all of our listeners. And it was very informative. Last week's episode wasn't quite as informative as I would have hoped, but it was very fun to listen to all 20 times that I had to. So I want to give a couple shout outs before we go. The first one I'm giving to Joao. So Joao is the sexy voice you hear at the very beginning of this podcast. As soon as you hit play, you hear this beautiful man speaking to you, and that's Joao. How I know him is it's not really super complicated, but I'm not going to go into it. We'll just call him my uncle. My uncle Joao, really cool dude. Wanted to thank him for recording that for me. I told him I wanted his sexy accent. And so he sent me the recording, and I started listening to it, and the motherfucker had recorded it in Portuguese, because he thought that I meant his Portuguese accent. So I had to tell him that I loved it, but I needed it in English, because I don't know if any of our listeners speak Portuguese. So huge shout out to Joao. Thank you for that explicit warning. It's super great and fun to listen to. Also, I want to give a shout out to my friend Calvin. He has just launched his podcast as well, which is really exciting. So I know Calvin from a couple years back. with a conference that we both attended, and he's started this podcast with his dad, and it's called Explaining Shit to My Dad. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. If you search in the iTunes store, though, I'm going to recommend just typing Explaining to My Dad, because the actual word shit isn't in the podcast title. It's like, you know, the S, but with a bunch of, like, different punctuation. And the main point of the podcast is him and his dad basically talking about current, like, this is going to sound really ignorant, Calvin, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but they're talking, like, current superhero stuff. I'm not into superheroes, weirdly enough, as nerdy as I am, but they're talking, like, current, like, Marvel comics and other comics. And it's funny because Calvin he's an aspiring comic book artist. You can find him on Facebook as, I think it's Calvin's Comics. And so he's big into, like, comics and stuff, and his dad is, like, not so much. And so his dad's just kind of like, he has a more passive attitude, and it's very funny to listen to them two talk. Because in the first episode, his dad wonderfully points out all of the nerdy posters that Calvin has hanging in his room, and I think it's hilarious. So that's it for today with our shout-outs. You can find us on Facebook, Sexpert with me and Renee. If you actually type it into the fucking whatever that search, I don't know terms. If you type in the actual link, it's facebook.com/sexpert with the actual word with me or Renee. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, I don't know, all of that at me or Renee Cole. Amber, what are your social medias?
You can find me on Twitter with @IHateAmber, the hate with 2 A's, and then on Instagram @QueenAmb.
And Valerie, did you want to give any social media out?
You can find me
thinking
on
about it.
Instagram and Snapchat
Yeah.
at Valerie Crisp. Yeah, that's kind of my real name, but doesn't matter.
And I'll link all of that below in the show notes as well. So if you're listening on iTunes or Podbean, you can find those in the show notes to go follow us. And guys, that's it. We're done with episode 2. Valerie, thanks for joining us, and thanks for letting me be really mean to you. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate it.
You know I love you, big booty.
Thanks, girlfriend. I don't know how I got that nickname, but thank you for that nickname. Because, like, disclaimer, the booty ain't that big, fam.
Just to let the listeners all know, she is lying. The booty is on fleek.
Is my booty on fleek?
Yes,
Is my booty on fleek, girl?
Yes.
You just made my night. Oh, you had that video where I was laying. It was at the last night we were in Chapel Hill. Yeah. And I had, like, my leggings and my thong.
Yeah. So make sure to find me on Tinder.
We'll post that on YouTube and link that. No, I'm just kidding. We'll just take Valerie's word for it, I guess. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go. Remember, stay sexy.